The most drama ever on paternity court.
How was you looking out for me?
gotta look.
How come I had to find out for somebody else? Why you
Because-
come to me like a real man and tell me?
Clean your hands with us and forget about us. She didn't lose her son. I did. He was my baby that I lost. I want to grieve my baby. Just lost him 6 months ago. Let me grieve him.
Mr. Baker, you are not
Oh!
her father.
That's what I'm talking about.
Head over heels in love with a woman twice his age and backstabbed by his own best friend. This Atlanta man wants to know if he is the father of the defendant's 2-year-old daughter. The plaintiff started his betrayal story like this.
Her personality, I really was intrigued by her energy. She's like the life of the party, but her mind is what captured my heart. But after finding out all the stuff that she did, I look at her like a dirty dish rag trying to wash clean dishes.
I know he didn't go there.
But the self-proclaimed cougar had no shame about her game. She admitted that she cheated. However, Miss Woods never imagined that she would end up getting pregnant at the age of 43. Still, she was adamant that the plaintiff is the father.
Sleep with his best friend?
I'm blaming it on the alcohol.
You're not the first in this courtroom.
The thing of it is, we had a little too much to drink, and everything is about being at my house, throwing parties, inviting everybody over to my house. And all this took place after I'm a mother of 11 kids before I had Trinity. So I decided at the age of 40 years old that I was going to be the life of the party.
Even the judge could see how hard all of this was for the alleged father. Mr. Baker told the court how excited he was about having the baby. The guy was there for every little bit because he had no idea about the defendants cheating on him.
I was really serious about it. 8 months into the pregnancy, I get a phone call from my cousin. Say she got something to tell me. Go ahead, just tell me what's good. Guess what she tell me? She had a conversation with Jimmy. At that, Jimmy admitted to her that she slept with Janine.
Mr. Dudley.
Not only that, she seen her in the club. This is stuff I didn't know. She all in the club. Remember, she life of the party, dances.
Yes.
She even left the club with a dude.
Their own love started from a one-night stand, and then it bloomed into something permanent, adding a kid to the mix and making it a lifetime commitment. Or at least that's what Mr. Baker was thinking.
When she told me she was pregnant, I was excited. One of my exes, she was pregnant, had a miscarriage. The second time, I was actually in the hospital holding the baby. Found out that wasn't my child. So I refused to play the fool and go through that again without
Yana,
being certain.
he's not on a birth certificate, okay?
So he wasn't on the birth certificate. This brought up the conception part. So the calendar showed that she slept with men in the same proximity. That's why the judge called Mr. Dudley in. But when he got there, all hell broke loose.
I just try to look out for him, make sure you know what I'm saying,
Looking out
watch
for
out
me,
for
bro?
him. Yeah, bro.
You was looking out for me.
Yeah, bro.
How was you looking out for me?
You gotta look.
If that's the case, if you was looking out for me, why you didn't tell me? How come I had to find out for somebody else?
Hey, bro, I'm tell you like this here. It happens like that sometimes.
Why you didn't tell me? Why you
Because-
come to me like a real man and tell me?
Well, Jimmy claimed that he was actually trying to look out for him and to expose the toxic nature of Mr. Woods. Nonetheless, Mommy here refused to be painted as the villain in the story.
How you gonna expose me? You ain't want to expose me, baby. You want to sleep with me like everybody else.
Hey, you
I know
look
I
nice
was.
and everything.
I
That
knew
wasn't what I was trying to do
You know
at
what it
that point
was?
in
You
time.
been staying to see me.
So hold on.
You got 11
You wanted
children.
to break us up.
Yes,
My kids
man.
grown on their own. I only
That
have
man
5
ain't got
at
no
home.
kids. Why you
My
trying to tie
kids
that man
are
down
grown
like
on
that?
their own.
Yeah, order in the court, please. The judge made it clear that there was no bigger person in this mess. It's just grown-ups making wrong decisions and little children paying for them. While baby mama testified she was sure that the plaintiff was the only potential father. Let's see if she's telling the truth.
When it comes to 2-year-old Trinity Wood, Mr. Baker, you are not her father.
That's what I'm talking about.
Miss Santos was in a big mess as her secret baby daddy passed away. Plus, the family of the deceased father refused to accept the baby. Why were they doing so? Because for Grandma, the child was a betrayal of trust. And we know how that goes when such sentiments are involved. There is good drama coming.
It was such a secret because me and Raymond grew up together from Pampers.
Cousins.
Like cousins. That's why it was such a secret. We don't have blood in our system. We don't have the same blood running through our system.
No, you don't have the
But
same
we
blood.
did grew up together. That's why it was such a secret. That's why I kept this pregnancy such a secret.
Baby Mama and Mr. Cologne were like cousins, and clearly they crossed a line mingling like that. But in the plaintiff's defense, they weren't actually related. Moreover, it was the alleged father who pushed Miss Santos's feelings. which the distressed defendant was not ready to buy at all.
Very disrespectful. You know, if he wanted to be with you, you should have told him, no, we're family.
No, he was so persistent on trying to be with me that I gave in.
So, Miss Santos,
So you just
we're
went with the
not
flow.
blood. We're not
the
blood.
bottom
that
line-
was my whole thing. We're not blood.
but in the end, you did give in and you slept with him.
I did.
Yeah, I know it sounds pretty simple, right? Grew up together and fell in love. Well, it wasn't, as Miss Santos was cheating on her boyfriend and initially acted like Juju was his.
You were in a relationship with somebody else.
Yes, I was. And Raymond knew that.
Sexually active with that person as
Yes.
well as Mr. Cologne.
Well, that's my case.
This was around the time of conception.
Yes. I told Raymond that I was pregnant or whatever because me and Raymond was really close.
If she believed another man was the father, then what changed her mind? Well, it turns out that her ex-boyfriend wanted nothing to do with Julius. This left both mommy and baby on the street, after which Mr. Cologne came to their rescue. Nonetheless, Mama Cologne mentioned a crucial part Miss Santos missed.
Then she was alone for a little while. She hooked up with another man that she was living with, that Raymond was his friend. So Raymond would come out of work and go to their house to play little video games. True or false?
It's true.
So you were with someone else before you were Raymond.
Okay, but that
So
has
Raymond
nothing
was
to
your
do
third
with
man.
this.
Raymond is not the father of this baby, I'm sorry.
Ramon being the baby daddy was a no-go zone for Mary Lou, because Juju looked nothing like the rest of the Cologne family. Furthermore, the grandma was adamant that if her son was a father to any child in the world, he would have never hidden it from his mother.
If he thought, by any slim chance, Julius is my son, let me go talk to my mom and dad and see if they'll help me pay a DNA test if I could be positive that it is my son. He could have gone to City Hall and signed his name on the birth certificate. If Raymond thought that it was his son, that it was definitely his son, he would have talked to us and told us.
However, it was revealed that the perfect son moved out of his home from Miss Cologne on Mother's Day. Later, she found out that Ramon moved just to be with the plaintiff. Well, that's a pretty clear sign of them being more than just friends, huh?
He put a roof over her head. Apparently, they were just roommates in the beginning, and then the relationship started. When I was told that they were living together, no. They're cousins, they cannot live together.
So, nobody except mommy and daddy knew about the affair, right? Well, that's the twist, as the auntie of Julius testified that her brother told her about his son, and that her mother was in denial, because in her eyes, her son wouldn't do anything like that.
Whatever she says, she's right. You know what I'm saying? But
Now
she's
that's
right.
a good daughter, isn't it, Miss Cologne? You know what side your bread is buttered on, right?
My brother told me from the beginning that's his baby. You know what I'm saying?
There was a lot
And
of
he took
confidence
care of
between
him. Juju, still to this day, he asks for Poppy. And who's Poppy? My brother.
Still, none of this was convincing enough for the defendant, because in Miss Cologne's eyes, her baby Angel could do no wrong, and she blamed Miss Santos for brewing all the drama for money.
If he is, then we will help the child. And if it's not, so please leave us alone. Just leave us alone. That's all. If the baby is not Raymond's, leave us alone. That's all I want. You know, clean your hands with us and forget about us. She didn't lose her son. I did. He was my baby that I lost. I want to grieve my baby.
Confusion and negation are running too much in this case. Though the judge felt bad for both sides, it was clear all of this quarreling was the result of the potential father hiding the truth and baby mama not going for a DNA test before. But it wasn't too late. Let's get to that envelope.
It has been determined that Mr. Raymond Cologne is not father.
Little Jordan lost her chance at paternity when her potential father kicked her mother out of his house out of nowhere. So, mommy's in the court to set the record straight, because she knows that Gibbs is the father, and he can't back out baby girl so easily.
You're in a relationship. He's the one for me. Then he goes to a spiritual convention.
Yes.
And comes home.
Yeah, he told me he had to go because he was working on himself or whatever. So I was like, well, it's late. Can I just wait till the morning, just go to my grandmother's house? Because, you know, it was late.
It's middle of the night.
It was like 12, 1, 2 maybe.
So the gentleman here was pulling these antics on his girlfriend. Sounds odd, right? Well, the defendant had a valid reason for it. Turns out that Miss Phillips had chosen another guy over him at the party. That's why the moment he got back, the intolerant man got rid of her.
He kind of just ignores that I'm even there. I'm asking her, I said, hey, you going with me or not? So she want to stay here with the guy that I just got into an altercation with.
Why is it if you came to the party with him and you guys were together when there was an altercation, why didn't you leave with him?
I've been around that family for years, and I know how they work.
Okay, don't fall for this anticipation so fast, because Miss Phillips only stayed to defuse the situation. In her words, she had been on the same course for years and thought it would be the best move to cool things down.
Trying to keep it down because they was ready to go to the house.
So out of protection for him, you were just trying to diffuse it and say, I'm just gonna stay.
Exactly.
After that, it follows up, I go to Miami with a friend of mine. 2 days later, I get a call from a mutual friend that says she was involved in an event.
I called you and told you.
My mutual friend told me first.
Next came the promiscuous part. Mr. Gibbs told the court how one of his acquaintances told him about sleeping with the plaintiff, and even she confessed. But baby mama testified that she was no swindler.
Yes,
Originally, she told me that was her brothers, her real fleshly brothers.
Yes,
I asked her several times.
I told him all this. This is what I told him.
Miss Phillips admitted to cheating.
Yes,
she told me that, but when I first got back, told me that she didn't. Stayed for about a month and a half until finally she broke out and said, yeah, I did cheat, but it wasn't with who I was with that night.
So the trust is going out the window, but you're still with her?
I'm still with her.
After that, trust was drained out of their relationship. None of them had respect for each other, especially the alleged father. He had stooped to calling his woman names and rubbing infidelity in her face.
What I'm gathering is that
too.
this relationship was messy. You end up pregnant.
Yes. The question up is it mine? And I'm like, okay, you feel like it's not yours, how? We haven't unprotected sex since we've been talking.
But things didn't go better from there either, because Mr. Gibbs told that the mama at the podium made things worse by vanishing. When the judge asked Miss Phillips' reason for it, she disclosed the mistreatment she had to go through. But this wasn't an excuse for the potential dad.
You go and take off 800 miles away. You go to Tampa. You down there. You done left me up here high and dry. You're not worried about me. I'm calling. I'm trying to maintain a long distance relationship.
So
but how much can I do this when I'm not at doctor's appointments? I'm not there doing the pregnancy of this child. the labor of this child.
The defendant was left out of the pregnancy experience. Based on these actions, Mr. Gibbs was washing his hands of the pregnancy. And even his sister backed up his assumptions. In her mind, no one should move away from the father for the sake of the child.
You don't even have a paternity test because they both were seeing other people. She was seeing other people and he was seeing other people. And he told me around the time that the baby was conceived or when she found out she was pregnant, it didn't add up. She was seeing other people and they weren't really together like that.
You were married, you were cheating, and you were tit for tat, and you break up, and then you get back together, and then potentially create a child, and still arguing about it.
The judge was right. All of this is just so messy. Both were doing things just to hurt each other, and their relationship was keeping the poor child from having both parents in his life. Time to get that result and settle this down.
Mr. Gibbs, this court has determined that you are her father.
That's it.
Miss Davis knows that too much lovemaking with random guys has landed her in paternity court. But for the sake of her son, Javion, she is ready to go down this ride. So, with 4 potential fathers on the list, Davis v. Smith started like this.
Mr. Smith, you argue that Ms. Davis actually told you were not her son's father. And you say you just had a brief sexual relationship and you don't want to take care of a child that isn't yours.
Yes, Your Honor.
The mother also grew up without a father. All of her childhood went from jumping from one foster home to another, and the pain of being unwanted was clear on her face. Even the judge knew how desperate this mother was.
Well, practically a hoe of myself when I was of that age.
It's okay.
And it just means everything to me for my son to know who his father is. I mean, my son's my world. I would do anything for that little boy.
But things were not this simple, as the mommy herself had told the defendant that he was not the father. And we all know how that spell works. Now he was sure that he wasn't the father. This brought us to the conception calendar, which had an accurate, explicit timeline.
You all basically spent a solid week being intimate. Were you using protection?
No, Your Honor. It was just a fling or, a holiday fling,
Apart from the ex-boyfriend, all of this was from the chat line. The baby mama got in touch with them and chatted a bit, and then you know what happened. The shocker was that Miss Davis didn't even remember the name of the 4th potential father.
Potential father number 4. Who is that?
He was a one-night stand. I don't remember his name.
After after having this experience that you voluntarily participated in, you're not feeling too good about yourself?
No, I mean, I know I made mistakes, Your Honor. I don't consider my son a mistake.
That's a good thing.
Next, it was revealed that after getting a hardcore denial from the ex-boyfriend, the plaintiff started her daddy hunt, which showed the first two contenders were not the father. That left the defendant and the no-name guy in the potential father's run.
So now we're left with Mr. Smith and potential father number 4. Now I remember you saying with potential father number 4, you don't know where he is.
I don't even know his name, Your Honor.
You don't even know his name. Wow.
The irony was that even though Miss Davis believed Mr. Smith was the baby daddy, still, he wasn't her best pick, because the guy was a total mama's boy. Well, you should have considered that before messing around with him. But nonetheless, that guy needed to step up.
You slept with her for a week or more right during the window of conception. So you have to acknowledge that, right?
Yes, Your Honor. But I still feel like he doesn't look like me or favor me whatsoever, Your Honor.
Have you met Javion?
Yes, I only met him once, Your Honor. I felt kind of scared, Your Honor, because I felt like he didn't know me and I felt like a total stranger, Your Honor.
Well, that is how any normal child acts around strangers, sir. I mean, both parents were in the same state. Still, the guy made no effort to connect with his potential child. But in Mr. Smith's opinion, Mommy is a gold digger, only in it for the money. The judge schools him for not being there for him.
What if she just wants to know who her child father is after she admittedly made a lot of mistakes?
Yes, Your Honor. I want to know because I never had a father because he died when I was 3 years old of prostate cancer.
So it is important to you.
Yes, Your Honor.
If it's determined that Javion is your son, I'm sure you want to be there for him.
Yes, Your Honor. I want to make up for the 2 years I missed.
2 years of mystery have brought Javion's mother here, as none of the men filled the paternity void, which left her no choice but to force the alleged for a test. Let's see if the result will end her search.
Mr. Smith, you are not Javion's father.
Wifey here refuses to add another woman's child to her family because she thinks so. Miss McLean is using the one night of passion to pin someone else's baby on them.
You say your daughter is the product of a night of passion gone wrong, and you are certain Mr. Strong is the father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, this paternity dispute is the result of a consensual threesome. Yeah, it was a proper mix of confusion. The shocking part was that it was the idea of Mrs. Strong. She convinced her reluctant husband to take such a swing.
We had a threesome, had a good time that night. We discussed everything beforehand of what, possibilities could be.
What possibilities?
She did get pregnant, of which we were under the understanding there was a medical reason she couldn't.
Okay, that was a little hard to comprehend. They had everything planned, so they were very thorough, and it was revealed that they did it more than once, and even continued after the birth.
2.5 to 3 weeks after we had our very first threesome, I found out I was pregnant.
And you said you had 8 of them?
Correct.
So you were still having threesomes with them through your pregnancy?
And after.
Well, it makes sense that she was claiming that Mr. Strong was the father. The only downside was that Miss McLean was dating someone else at the time and ruled him as the father first.
We were, I don't know how to explain it, we were a very passionate couple, I guess. We had intercourse a lot. So I'm not thinking, okay, maybe 1 or 2 times with them.
But 1 or 2 times before you found out you were pregnant?
Right, they would have been the dad. I thought the gentleman I was with at the time was the father.
Further, it was revealed that the other guy was an African man, but the baby looked nothing like him. Plus, he was already tested, and it was proven that he wasn't the father.
So, regardless of race, he's ruled out.
Yes.
Were you there at the hospital when the baby was born?
We didn't know the baby was born. We heard from a third party that she had her. We weren't even notified.
Even after that, the defendant contacted the Strongs right out of the blue, asking them to step up for the baby, which they did, regardless of the obvious doubts in their heart. While Miss McLean explained herself like this.
My daughter has a lot of Douglas's tendencies. Holding on her ears when she's tired or she's frustrated, Douglas does that. His yabba dabba doo feet, the Flintstone feet that he has, my daughter has. His laugh, my daughter has that laugh.
It was the defendant waiting for a while that instigated the dispute, because the couple was stepping up either way. They loved the baby and took her in as theirs.
If this is positive, and they already call her their sister.
That's a beautiful little girl. You opened this case because you said you don't believe.
There's a 50-50 chance because I see a lot of features that could be mine, and then I also see a lot of features that aren't mine. See, I'm part Hispanic family. I mean, I do have a little bit of Irish in me. I mean, I'm just trying to be certain because I grew up without a father.
Regardless of their dynamic, all of them were concerned about the child. The Strong family wanted to be done with every ounce of doubt, as they couldn't shake off the medical accident or another potential daddy part.
She said she had an accident, which we knew about the accident that she couldn't have children from. That's what we looked at. Otherwise, we would have used other protection.
And so once Angel got here, you said this innocent little baby deserves nothing less than our love and our support, and we welcome her into our family.
Yes, Your Honor.
All of this sounds very big to them, right? Well, they wouldn't be in this situation if they hadn't gone for the three-way. So the judge asked Mrs. Strong what made her go for such wild ventures. And the reply was this.
This is fun for you, huh, Ms.
No,
Strong?
it is not fun for me at all.
No, I'm talking about the threesomes.
I'd rather him do it with me than behind my back.
Oh!
Okay. Before they made me look bad, most of the threesomes were her idea.
They were.
That's what I felt like.
That's what I'm saying. Like, before I get look like a jerk or something, like.
So wifey had all the things played out to control her husband. In her mind, every man wants to cheat, but she would rather let him do it in front of her. Wow, quite manipulative, don't you think?
If it's determined that Angel is your husband's biological child, what happens in your relationship? Does the dynamic get weird? What happens?
I have absolutely no issue.
But in this case, the three of you are intimate and the baby was made with you in the bed.
A gift from God is how I'm gonna look at her.
Huh, that's a lot of forward thinking, which was good for the baby girl. I'm not sure how this trio is going to manage. So before going to the envelope, the judge asked the baby mama if they should look out for paternity surprises. Ms. McLean negated. So let's see what happens then.
When it comes to 14-month-old Angel McLean, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Strong, you are not the father.
Things happen or said in the bedroom that may not always be. But it was never, I mean, and it was.
Well, aren't you speaking a word this afternoon?
I'm not saying.
So basically you're admitting that you just lying? How did you see her messages? You looked through her phone?
I went through her phone.
And you could see it all there?
I can't trust her.
Don't waste my time. It ain't that many kissy faces in the world that you got to type after you meet a coworker at the park.
This case was outright palooza, as Mr. Hammond claimed that his debauched spouse had imperiled their marriage with compulsive lies. He claimed that baby mama was busy with another when she conceived the baby.
Mrs. Hammond, you claimed that after 10 years of marriage and repeated attempts to get pregnant, a month ago you finally gave birth to your miracle baby, Isaac. You need today's result to prove to the defendant that this is his baby. Is this correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Initially, the defendant shed light on the habitual lying part. He claimed that his spouse had numerous guys in her life. She had a habit of manipulating people. Even she had made him a fool in their whole marriage of 11 years. But now it's time to show that enough is enough.
She lies to my face constantly. So how am I supposed to believe someone who's telling me it's night and it's daytime? You know what I mean?
So you say she lies to you all the time?
All the time. She had me in a snowsuit in the middle of summer. I can only be the fool so many times to where I'm putting my dukes up because I'm tired of being that fool.
It turned out that Mrs. Hammond's promiscuity was at the peak that even her lovers gave the red flag to the defendant and dropped him a video of them banging his wife. But mommy tried to wipe it like this.
I've seen a video of my wife giving oral to another man.
That is such a lie. There is no video.
But was there a man and was there oral sex?
In all honesty, there has been cheating on both sides. My husband cheated on me first. I took it the wrong way. About a year after that happened, I did end up, I've cheated on him. It was known on both sides. It wasn't something that I hid.
So to prove his claims, the potential daddy brought evidence, which alleged that Mr. Hammond caught his wife texting another, which enraged him, and he ended up posting something on Facebook. That should not be posted on social media. Come on now.
The other man writes, "So good to finally see you. You look hella good, babe. Made my day for show." And then you write, Mrs. Hammond, "Just made it back to sack.
So
and I miss you already too." And then the other man says, Thank you for texting me. Can't wait to see you again. Kiss, heart, kiss.
Right.
However, the plaintiff was consistently lying. She contended that there was nothing true in those text messages because it was one of her friends. But this time, Judge Lake jumped, cut her chase off, and did not let her nincompoop her like this.
I met him at our local county park, said hello to him. It was a friend that we had both worked with.
Don't waste my time. This is not an exchange between a coworker and you just met at the park for a minute. It ain't that many kissy faces in the world that you got to type after you meet a coworker at the park.
Moreover, it was slipped that the woman had numerous other people in this paternity run, as she had been moving around with a single status that even claiming to be married shocked Mr. Hammond.
You believe that this person could be Isaac's biological father?
Yes, ma'am, and numerous others. I mean, she's moved so single, I don't understand how she claims to be a married woman.
One after another, Mommy's lies were being caught. So Judge Lauren jumped into the birthday party. It was disclosed that the man did not help her even when she was about to give birth. He abandoned her and went to a casino with another woman.
He left me at my house. He went to the casino with another woman. Mind you, after my water broke, I had to drive myself to the hospital. He didn't show back up to the hospital until 20 minutes before I gave birth. And he was there. He cut the umbilical cord, stayed for about maybe 45 minutes, and he left again.
But the husband denied the claims and stated there were no other women with him because he went to gamble only. This weird part triggered Judge Lake, so she reacted like this.
Why were you at the casino gambling if your wife's giving birth
That's a good
to the
question.
baby you prayed for?
Right. I can't have an answer for that one because I don't know.
What kind of craziness is this?
Right?
Now that's one we've never heard, Jerome. My water broke, great, I'll be at the casino.
Right. Jackpot.
Apparently, Mommy was a trollop and her unfaithfulness had made things go south. Still, the potential dad claimed that his spouse cheated on him with multiple men, even if it could be 13, 16, or more, because Mama lied and swindled a lot.
How many times have you cheated?
I've been with 3 other people.
I know at least 6 that she's been with.
Why are you saying these numbers?
Because she would tell me anything. I mean, I've been the brunt of the joke many times, you know what I mean? So it's hard for her to say, this is your child.
Even though Miss Hammond's cheating had left her marriage at a vulnerable point, the only way to determine the truth about the baby was to uncover the secret the DNA envelope was holding. So, let's get to those results.
Mr. Hammond, you are the father. God answers prayers.
Yes, ma'am. I get that. It's time to be a man.
What would you do if you see a girl wearing tight pants? Would you slide into her bed by selling dreams of wedding bells, as the man did in this case? Mr. Wiggins rolled up in the court seeking Judge Lake's help to get back his family. Let's hear what brought him into this mess.
Mr. Wiggins, you are here in court to prove that you are not the father of Miss Davis's child, Aubrey Wiggins, and say today's results will change your life. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. As a result of being alleged the father of Aubrey, I lost my wife and I want to regain my family.
You lost your family?
Your Honor, I was married and me and my wife went through a separation due to a rough patch.
Wow, a brief separation gave him the pass of sleeping with another woman. It turned out that in no time, he was up to jiggery-pokery with Miss Davis. Yet he wanted to free himself from accusations of being a father to a baby girl because his family was at stake.
We was never together.
Yes,
I was married, Your Honor. It just, it kind of went longer than it should have.
But your hope is that if you can prove that Aubrey is not your biological child, that you can convince your ex-wife, which is, the woman, I guess she left because of this situation.
Yes, ma'am.
That you want to try to put the family back together.
Yes, Your Honor.
Further, the defendant claimed that they were in a committed relationship for 2 years, and the man admitted to manipulating and lying to this young lady for his gain. Yet, blaming her was the reason he lost track of his family. Oh my, what kind of man is he?
I knew I was in a relationship.
You did?
2.5 years we was together.
I was telling her what I felt I needed to tell her to ultimately get what I wanted.
You might have gotten more than you bargained for, right?
He did. He did, a child. He wanted to marry me. He wanted to get a divorce from his wife.
No,
he wanted to be with me.
No.
Next, Judge Lake hopped into the pregnancy. It slipped out that Mr. Wiggins' mistress wanted his wife out of his life because she expected to have her whole life with him. So, put on his deception hat and duped baby mama like this.
And I was good to her, because ultimately I was trying to get something out of her. So I did what I had to do, I felt I needed to do.
2.5 years, how we're not together?
Things happen or said in the bedroom that may not always be.
However, he asserted that Miss Davis approached his wife on Facebook and disrupted his married life. Man, are you out of your mind? He has no control over his desires and yet inoculated the defendant for the havoc? That just makes no sense.
She inboxed her on Facebook, which caused a lot of havoc in my life.
You wasn't gonna be a man.
Did it cause the havoc or did you cause the havoc?
He did, cause
Miss Davis immediately was like, "Well, it doesn't matter what nobody else think. Oh, I ain't going nowhere."
Right, because you lay down with me.
This position.
That's your
I've got
father,
you now.
so you're not.
I've got you now.
Okay, so the next chronicles of Wiggins started. He claimed that mommy had been busy with another man at the time she conceived the baby because he saw some text messages on her phone. So that's why he was denying paternity.
My family member seen her be picked up by another guy.
That was my cousin.
That she claims to be her cousin. While we were at the hotel, she happened to be taking a shower, and I think I was using her tablet for something. And this guy inboxes about meeting her again, and she's telling him, "Oh, I need some more loving."
Slept with him,
so to me, saying more means that it's already happened.
To prove his sham show right, the alleged father brought an exhibit to the court. He alleged that Miss Davis had fabricated his name on the birth certificate, but how she forged his name was quite interesting. Duh. But the baby's mom wiped off all his lies like this.
This is the birth certificate. Apparently she knew my name. This is the birth date that's listed on Aubrey's birth certificate. My birthday is November the 9th, 1990.
The one
this
you wrote.
Says 11/11/1990.
And
I
you
didn't
wrote.
write anything. And also in the state of Florida, because I was married, I wasn't just supposed to go on her birth certificate.
Till now, it was apparent Mr. Wiggins was a compulsive liar who was putting on sham allegations about baby mama, and he was clowning just to defend himself. Further, it came out that they were still sleeping together, and it ticked Judge Lake, so she articulated the reality like this.
When was the last time you two were intimate?
It's been a while.
Last night.
No. Your Honor, we was at separate hotels, no, Your Honor.
And you made your way to my hotel.
That is not true,
Right.
Your Honor. We did go to dinner, Your Honor. But
And afterwards?
I went to my respective places.
No, he came to my room.
Mr. Wiggins, you look like you lying.
No, because...
Yeah, Judge Lake was right. He was playing on both sides of the fence, yet contended that he wanted to get his family back. However, their back and forth did not help and made things more complicated. So the last hope to get closure was to reveal the DNA results.
Mr. Wiggins, you are the father. Miss Davis, what are you feeling?
I've been going through this for a long time, between him and his wife,
It's his child.
Right.
You are the father.
Never let anyone take your absence for granted, or it may trap you in the paternity muddle. Mr. Taylor addressed Miss Jackson in front of Judge Lauren to settle down the heated mess. He claimed that the defendant had made him a buffoon, as she was pregnant with someone else's baby, and he was unaware till 9 months.
Ms. Jackson, you admit to an affair during the window of conception with Mr. Green, who will join us momentarily, but you are in court today to prove to Mr. Taylor that he is your son's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
The trial began with the deceiving saga. It turned out that the plaintiff turned on ghost mode, abandoned his family, and went to another city to pursue his career. Mommy claimed that she buzzed him on the phone, but he turned his back on her. Ugh. Then why play the victim card?
Mr. Taylor left me and my children stranded in Florida while he went away to, chase his dreams, knowing that we had nobody and knowing that we had nothing. And I felt alone, and I felt as if I had no one. And I felt that Mr. Green was there for me when Mr. Taylor was not there for me.
It turned out that when Mr. came back in the picture, the woman was already having hanky-panky with another man. But Mama shed some light on the truth. She said that Daddy never looked back to his family. So to find comfort, she brought another man in the picture.
Mr. Taylor didn't send any money while he was away.
All right.
This supposed job opportunity that he had, during this job opportunity, he never sent me or the kids any money. We barely had any contact with him. There was no one for me to turn to but Mr. Green. He was the person there for me, giving me emotional support.
Further, Mr. Taylor alleged that the defendant got intimate with the other man right after he left. That precipitated the bickering in the court, because no one was ready to drop their allegation. But the defendant buckled up and advocated that they wouldn't have been in paternity court if the man had used his mind.
3 days later, she was pregnant by October 12th. I left September 14th.
If he would have never left us there in the first place, this whole situation could have been avoided. If he would have just been a man about the situation, be a man about the situation.
We have no money.
Leave a message.
Kids was on the verge of getting taken away.
I'm going to go.
He's saying.
However, Mr. Taylor disclosed that he has caught baby mama texting the other man. He told that she tried to settle with Mr. Green, but he denied the baby, so the mommy decided to make him adult and pin her child on him like this.
Who is she texting?
Mr. Green, can I name the baby after you, the stand and third?
He knows the situation behind that. Your Honor, I was messaging Mr. Green because I knew that he was potentially the father of my child. And yes, I was messaging him trying to be on his good side because I didn't want us to be on bad terms.
How did you see her messages? You looked through her phone?
I went through her phone.
And you could see it all there.
I can't trust her.
For better understanding and to create some sense, Judge Lake summoned Mr. Green to the podium and asked about the particular situation. He said that things were not in good circumstances when he started messing with Miss Jackson. So he asked her to move in with him.
When I met her, she told me that he had left her for a rap career in Atlanta, just left and didn't want nothing to do with her, had nothing to do with her, didn't want to take care of the kids. So I'm sitting there and I feel bad. Right? So I sit there, I feel bad. She got 2 kids. I look over, she messaging him stuff. I didn't really know what for, so I didn't really care. But she told me he didn't care. He stranded me down here with the kids. He don't care about the kids.
From cheating to being caught red-handed, it revealed that the defendant changed her mind when she was kicked out of Mr. Green's house and got back with Mr. Taylor. But Mama denied the saga and shouted to her core to prove her point like this.
You move in with Mr. Green?
Yes, Your Honor.
At what point do you go back to Mr. Taylor?
When he dropped her.
No, he didn't drop me. I left.
When he dropped her.
No, I left.
When he dropped her. Everything I'm saying is
Your Honor, this man thinks
like
he's the smartest man in the world.
Just like this child ain't mine.
He knows it's a possibility.
Hold on, let's not get out of control.
As you know, one lie has the power to tarnish 1,000 truths, as it happened in this case. Miss Jackson first asserted that her fiancé was the father, but later it turned out that she didn't even know who the biological father of her baby was, because she swindled around both men at the time she conceived.
Your Honor, I don't know which one is the father because I had sex with both of them.
Thank you. That's it. That's why we're here. So the bottom line is you really don't know. You told him he was the father. You messaging him as well.
Telling him he the father.
Because you don't know.
Yes.
Okay.
It was evident that both parties were at daggers drawn, and no one was ready to drop their allegations. One after another, secrets were being revealed in the court, but nothing was helping them to get the closure they needed. So, Judge Lake pulled the strings and decided to announce the results.
His biological father is Mr. Green.
I figured. That's fine. If that's mine, that's good. And I respect you for being there.
I was about to say, you got a good child though.
That's the case, my son still be going over to your house. What do you mean?
Because I help you.
Whatever. Help me do what?
You need a child care to go to work.
Okay, so I work.
Why do you,
How do you know? That's what I'm trying to figure out. How do you know? How do you know? How do you know when I was living in your house? Your son wanted me there. Your son wanted me there.
One at a time.
The most difficult cases to handle are the ones where a mother swoops in, proclaiming that a dead man fathered her child. Miss Willingham has come to court for pretty much the same reasons today. She wants to prove that late Nathaniel Allen fathered her baby Nicorian.
What has this past year and a half been like since Nathaniel's family denies your son?
It's been hard. It's just basically me. I mean, I'm a strong, independent woman of my children. I don't ask for help. So as far as depending on the system, I don't know where they're getting that from. I barely call them and ask them for anything.
Meanwhile, Nathaniel's sister, Miss Griffin, is 100% sure that the only reason Miss Willingham keeps chasing them is because she's in it for the money. She keeps upsetting their family, knowing very well that they're grieving the loss of their brother.
About 6 weeks after my son had passed, he come to me and says, you have to go and help me. Y'all need to help me. And I said, what I need to do? So she took me to the Social Security office, and they told her she had to get letters. So I wrote a letter and a couple of others. And no, I didn't believe it's my grandson.
You say you just don't believe?
No.
That letter really changes things for Miss Willingham. According to her, she really needed that letter so she could go to Social Security and access services. But when she asked Nathaniel's family to write the letter, Instead of helping her out, they caused more trouble.
Before he passed, he wanted me to give him the information so he could put them on his 401k plan.
Well, me and Nathaniel had a conversation too, and he told me that he didn't think that Corian was his son. He said that it was not his son.
Because Nathaniel has caught you in this other person.
Lord, there's all sorts of crazy going on in court. The Griffins have a completely different story to tell. According to them, their boy Nathaniel was in a relationship with someone else when Corian was born, so it's not even possible the child is his.
Your son hurted me.
No.
What do you mean? You know your
my
son wasn't
by
right.
going with other guys.
Other guys?
Yes.
No, your son was a whore.
Because you're
okay,
not.
Whatever.
All right, let's be respectful. Let's be respectful.
You should be up in this.
Hold on.
Come on, honey.
He called me every day.
Ladies.
All of the accusations from the Griffins really tear down Miss Willingham. The truth, according to her, is that Nathaniel left her for another woman, and when she took a pregnancy test, she called him to tell him that the baby could be his.
My son asked for a DNA.
No, that's not the case. We couldn't afford a DNA at that time.
Because he came and asked me too. Whatever. And I told him, I said, whenever you like, I would go.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to help me because y'all not trying to really be in these kids' life, period. That's not the case.
And
I
on
really
the day
don't care
that
if y'all
she had the baby, he didn't even go to the hospital because he said it was none of his.
He's a liar.
These two women won't stop fighting with each other. Judge Lauren has to ask the court to order at least several times to make them stop. Miss Willingham opens up about how selfish Nathaniel really was, and she had to go through the entire pregnancy all alone, without any support from him.
Hey, if that's the case, my son still be going over to your house. What do you mean?
Because I helped you.
Whatever. Help me do what?
You need a child care to go to work.
Okay, so I work.
Okay, I watched you while you go to work. I didn't want you to lose your
Ladies, I need you to talk one at a time, but I do want to understand this because this is interesting testimony.
With the cousin's testimony in court, it seems that the Griffins really don't have much ground to stand on. Meanwhile, Miss Willingham's been enduring all of this mental torture for so long. She deserves some peace. The clock's ticking, and the results reveal the truth.
Latricia Griffin and Nicorian Allen are related.
Yeah, you know. Thank you.
Are you ready to witness an exploding showdown in paternity court? This time, it's two grandmothers feuding over a toddler's paternity. Miss Johnson and her mother are prepared to fight Jalen Taylor and his mother and fire up the court.
Miss Johnson, you and your mother say even though the father of your 2-year-old son, Jaden Taylor, is a deadbeat dad, he has never denied him up until a couple of weeks ago. And today you claim to have medical evidence that proves Mr. Taylor is the father of your son. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Johnson and Mr. Taylor had been co-parenting the 2-year-old boy. Then, 5 days ago, out of nowhere, Miss Johnson receives a strange text from Mr. Taylor. Suddenly, he refuses to look after the baby and wants a DNA test. Turns out an unknown woman told some big secret to Mr. Taylor.
Why did you send this out the blue?
It was actually a week ago. Me and my son was in the house playing around. I was told someone was outside for me. I went outside. A girl told me she had something to tell me about my baby mother. She said Miss Johnson told another girl that Jaden wasn't mine.
Once that woman revealed that baby Jaden's true father could be someone else, Mr. Taylor opens up to the court about how Miss Johnson has, on numerous occasions, blackmailed him, that the baby's not really his. What's going on here?
That's not your baby. That's not your baby. You right. That's not your baby. Somebody else the daddy. Somebody else is the daddy. Take him up off of your. That's what you could do. Take him all the way completely off of your. Period. Take him off. No, and I'm finna come get my own baby. How about that? That's mine. That's my baby.
Miss Johnson, is that you?
Yes.
What a shocker! Here, Miss Johnson and her mother are protesting that Jaden is indeed Jalen's son, but then the video recording as evidence just says otherwise. What do these two women want? On top of that, Miss Johnson's mother justifies her daughter's behavior, saying she did it in anger.
He does nothing. He just, you know.
That's a lie.
What you
I
do?
do everything for
What
him.
proof? Where's the proof? You ain't seen him in 5 months, so what you do?
I have a lot of proof. I sent.
Okay, where is it?
Can you see it? Can you
got any
see that?
receipts?
No.
Oh,
You ain't got that?
So wait a minute.
That's what I thought.
He don't have to have receipts. She know we do for
No,
him.
for free. Now you don't do nothing.
It don't.
What do you
it's
do,
free.
Yolanda?
It don't
I buy
have to
him
be at
stuff.
home.
After that really heated duel between grandmothers, everyone's on the edge of their seats. Miss Johnson claims that Mr. Taylor's a deadbeat dad, but his mother says that it's Miss Johnson who's failed as a mother. But Miss Johnson reveals a new bomb. Mr. Taylor refused to see Jaden for 5 months.
Actually, the court sent in a paper saying I had to go take a DNA test. I went down there to take a DNA test. After I left, I messaged Ms. Johnson and told her that she was supposed to come with me to take the DNA test for my son. After that, she said, I told her she had to go down there and schedule one for him. She never
He only
went
went because child support started sending him letters in the mail.
Yep.
That's why he went, to be truthful.
Another shocking revelation comes when Miss Johnson reveals the true reason she never showed up for the scheduled DNA test. According to her, Mr. Taylor not only did it to get out of child support, but in his heart, he knew baby Jaden was his son. But for Mr. Taylor, it meant something different.
I always been around him. Like he was always with me. Like she said, he's all over my Facebook, videos, pictures, like little conversations we have. I post them on Facebook and stuff like that.
So how is it that some one person out of the blue can walk up to you and just say, you know what?
Exactly.
That baby you've been with for 2 years, that's not your child.
Exactly.
Judge Lauren scolds Miss Johnson by reminding her men may forget a lot of things, but they never forget if you tell them that they're not the father. Those are some loaded words. Jaden has a lot in common with his dad, but the answer to these grandmother's paternity doubts lie in that envelope.
Mr. Taylor, you are the father.
Like I told you.
No. If you're not gonna, don't start that nonsense. Don't start that nonsense.
Can I go to...
When I gave you a chance to say something, you ain't had nothing to say.
The case of Mr. Jackson against his own daughter, Miss Jackson, is a strange one, but it's more than enough to add fuel to the fire of their paternity doubts. Mr. Jackson claims he's been forced into being Miss Jackson's father for the past 41 years, but today, he's had enough.
Ms. Jackson, you say Mr. Jackson is the only father you've ever known, and over the last 41 years, he has treated you like a second-class citizen. You say you have no doubt Mr. Jackson is your father, and you intend to prove it today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, what exactly are Mr. Jackson's woes? Being a father to Miss Jackson has taken a huge toll on his life. It became a burden in every way imaginable. He's not doing well mentally, and he had to spend a huge sum of money raising her. But most of all, she's the reason he's got a pacemaker in his heart.
How long have you been paying support, sir?
I've been paying support since I was maybe 30, Your Honor. I started working for a private contractor. For 18 years, Your Honor, I did not know that I owed child support. And I get a job with a paycheck. It's when I find out I owe child support.
But he's not exactly an innocent bystander here. Ms. Jackson reveals that since she turned 10, Mr. Jackson has been telling her harsh things, like how her mother is a promiscuous woman who slept around with multiple men. Who says those things to a little girl?
I was always feeling like I was just someone there who he had a relationship with my mom.
What was the nature of the relationship with Ms. Jackson's mother?
At the time I was married, and I knew it was wrong, but I did it.
So what happened when she told you she was pregnant?
I told her it was not my child, Your Honor.
Then, Mr. Jackson puts his foot down and claims that he never even signed Miss Jackson's birth certificate. His real name is Charlie Jackson, but the birth certificate says Charles Jackson, and the only person who called him Charles was Miss Jackson's mother. What can Miss Jackson say to that one?
Why he never treated me like a daughter, since he has so much love in his heart? Why was I always treated like little trash off the street?
No, I've reached out to her at times, but she goes into a shell where she don't talk to nobody, she don't call nobody.
Miss Jackson breaks down that she can't be with good men because of Mr. Jackson. He gave her so many issues that now she can't ever be in a functional relationship. Mr. Jackson says that he never even knew she was going through so much. Moreover, Mr. Jackson thinks because she can't stutter, she can't be his daughter.
And during his testimony, he has talked about all of his children suffer from stuttering. Is stuttering an inherited trait?
Frequently it is, and there's a strong genetic component with stuttering. About 60% of people who stutter have family members that stutter as well.
Eventually, Judge Lauren calls in Mr. Jackson's witness, and guess who it is? It's his stepson, Mr. Johnson. The judge asks him a lot of questions to cross-check whatever Mr. Jackson said in court up until now. Then she starts asking him about Miss Jackson.
When you saw Miss Jackson, who did you think she was?
More like a friend.
So you don't believe your father, Mr. Jackson, would have denied Miss Jackson if he truly felt she was his biological daughter.
No, he wouldn't have.
Because you are not, in fact, his biological child.
No, I'm not.
But he raised you as his own.
Yes.
It's been a little bit too much for both Mr. Jackson and Miss Jackson. Witnesses and experts have been brought in, yet the only way to provide either of them any consolation is to finally open up the brown package. Will the results help save their failing relationship? Only one way to find out.
Mr. Jackson Jr., you are her father.
I'm so sorry.
All the best fights happen when there's a cheating scandal. But there's something even worse than that. It's when you think your brother might be the actual father of your child. Mr. Vogel's come into court to prove that Miss Vogel has been lying to him about their son, William.
Mr. Vogel, who do you believe his father is?
My brother, David.
Oh.
She had sex with my brother in my car in a parking lot in Janesville, Wisconsin.
Okay, wait a minute. Just take me back.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, but there was no sex in the car. It was under a bridge. My son is a bridge baby.
Well, that definitely has the entire court rolling in laughter. Right after their divorce, Mr. Vogel went down to Kentucky to see Miss Vogel. That's when she came out to him about having slept with his brother under a bridge. Once he lined up the dates, it was clear William wasn't his kid.
You married his brother?
Yeah, 3 years after I divorced him.
How do you get to a point where you're going to sleep with your husband's brother?
Well, the bridge thing, he treated me better. He was good to me. And he just was that smooth that he just talked me right out of my britches. Literally.
But the truth now lies in how William tells the entire story. He tells Judge Lauren that when he was 5, he used to think that his uncle David was his father. After all, that's who Miss Vogel was married to at the time. Then one day, she tells William that actually, his real dad could be Mr. Vogel, aka Daniel.
I have a young man standing in my courtroom, quite frankly, that says he hasn't had a secure thought in years.
No, he hasn't.
Because he doesn't have a firm foundation.
No,
because he doesn't know who his father is. It's like changing by the decade.
Yeah.
One decade he has one father.
Next.
The next decade that father is his uncle, and then the uncle is the father.
It starts getting really intense once William's asked to share his experience of having to go back and forth between two men. According to William, Mr. Vogel's actually a wonderful man, and not at all like how his mother's telling the story. Who's the truly honest person in this case then? Could William be biased?
He got to see me once in a while. It wasn't very often. Majority of the time living with David, I had actually been moved around from state to state. We really didn't stay in one place for a very long period of time. So my understanding of it was David was my father because he was the one raising me, but Daniel was my biological father.
Eventually, everything comes out in the open when Mr. Vogel starts sharing the dates. He tells the entire court how Miss Vogel admitted to sleeping with David on the 19th of February, 1984, the same day Mr. Vogel was trying to celebrate his birthday. That's one way of hurting your then husband.
I have beat myself up for many years trying to figure out the difference between this, the timeline, and everything else.
Okay, let's walk through this.
I've walked through the dates. I've done everything for
Walk
years.
through the dates with me. Walk through the dates with me.
She told me February 19th of 84. That was the story back then.
February 19th of 84 was what?
Was when her and my brother had sexual relations.
The main problem here is that because of all this confusion, it's Mr. Vogel who's been paying William's child support since 1990, even when he believes that he's not the boy's father. And now, Mr. Vogel has 3 of his own children to take care of, so all of these finances have really taken a toll on him.
Has any of this testimony affected your belief? Because you've told him back and forth. Is it just because you've just always been confused?
Yes, Your Honor, it is, because I just don't know.
Well, that's why we're here.
Daniel.
I thank you for that. That's okay. That's all forgiven, Donna. It's forgiven. Has been, you know that.
Now that's the kind of stuff I'd like to see under the bridge, Rome.
So, before things could get any worse, Judge Lauren mediates a kind of truce between these 3. But it still doesn't take away the fact that poor William had to grow up feeling so uncertain about the identity of his own father. Who's the uncle here, and who's the father?
Mr. Daniel Vogel, you are his father.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Finally, Brad.
My relatives told my ex that he was the father.
You told Mr. Lewis that he was, but did you tell your ex that he was as well?
No, I didn't.
Take me off child support, baby.
This is not a joke. It's nothing to dance about. It's nothing to laugh about. Now, you should be ashamed of yourself, not sitting around dancing.
In this episode of who is obviously the father or not the father in paternity court, Miss Smith appears in court uncertain about her 4-month-old son's paternity due to a miscalculation during her pregnancy. Her ex-boyfriend and her fiancé, Mr. Booker, are the potential fathers. However, doubts and detective work have left Mr. Booker questioning the evidence.
Miss Smith, you are here in court today because you claim a miscalculation during your pregnancy has left you unsure about the paternity of your 4-month-old son, Lamontre. Now, today you hope to determine whether your ex-boyfriend or the defendant, Mr. Booker, fathered your child.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Booker hilariously admits to having morning conversations with Miss Smith, where he sometimes can't decipher what's being said. However, confusion arises due to a miscalculation during Miss Smith's pregnancy, leading her to believe her ex-boyfriend could be the father. She sought medical advice from 3 different doctors, adding to the suspense of this gripping paternity case.
Talk to me about this miscalculation.
I went to 3 different doctors, and they told me, well, yeah, you're about 8 or 9 weeks pregnant, and they did it by the chart. So that led back to my ex. And then that next week, I went and I got a blood test done, and they said that just about the same thing, 8 or 9 weeks, and my due date was April 9th.
Miss Smith reveals a baffling mix-up during her pregnancy, with different doctors providing conflicting due dates, one corresponding with the time with Mr. Booker. The suspense intensifies. The ultrasound adds to the confusion, leaving the court and audience on the edge of their seats. The uncertainty surrounding the due dates adds an unexpected twist to this enthralling paternity case.
So this is where it gets confusing. I was stating that me and Mr. Booker had sex August on the 14th. And then that's when I went to the doctor again on the 24th, and they gave me a date of May 13th. And at that time, I'm like, that corresponds with the time me and him started having sex.
In this riveting episode, Dr. Gator sheds light on the perplexing situation of conflicting due dates. Miss Smith's irregular menstrual cycle caused a discrepancy in the estimated due dates, leading to confusion in determining the father. With expert testimony, the court delves deeper into the complexities of pregnancy calculations, keeping the audience at the edge of their seats.
Have you reviewed the paperwork we submitted to you, and how can that happen, and why does that happen?
It actually happens more often than you would think. At Miss Smith's first visit, she basically was given a potential due date of April the 9th, and that was based off of her last menstrual period of July the 3rd.
During this emotional exchange, Miss Smith reveals her conversation with Mr. Booker about the possible paternity, and he expressed both excitement and sadness at the prospect of being a father. Despite the uncertainty, Mr. Booker was determined to be supportive and attend the initial doctor's appointments.
He was the father, at least a strong potential, right?
Right.
So what were you telling him?
Well, I'll let him know up front that, Trey could possibly be the father, but he was really upset because it would have been his first child, and that would have just made him happy. But he said that if whatever happens, he want to be there and he want to be supportive.
The at-home test results shockingly show 0% probability of paternity for Mr. Booker. Miss Smith, on the other hand, questions the accuracy of the test, considering her son was born prematurely and the nurse advised against it. Both parents expressed their love and concern for the child's well-being, emphasizing the importance of knowing the truth.
It says probability of paternity 0%. What did you think then?
That's still my baby.
You did?
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Smith, you say you don't believe this test was accurate?
I don't believe that, because I feel like he was born early and the nurse advised us not to do it. So that's why I don't believe that it's accurate.
In a highly emotional moment on paternity court, the truth is finally unveiled, sending shockwaves through the room. Mr. Booker's face betrays a mix of surprise and anticipation as the test results are disclosed, while Miss Smith nervously grips her seat. The outcome isn't what they expected, but their commitment to face it together is evident.
Mr. Booker, you are not his father. I'm sorry to have to deliver that news.
It's okay. I'm still gonna be there.
Get ready for the most intense and shocking moment on paternity court. Miss Adams urgently presents her son, Mr. Adams, via satellite from Flint, Michigan, where he faces potential arrest for child support issues. They aim to prove he's not the father of the defendant's 3-year-old son to keep him out of jail.
Ms. Williams, you say Mr. Adams is indeed your baby's biological father, and you argue his legal issues are his own fault because he never stepped up for his son.
Yes, Your Honor.
As tensions rise in the courtroom, the truth unfolds about Miss Adams' pregnancy and her ex-boyfriend's involvement. The paternity test results are in, and the moment of truth approaches. Will it confirm Mr. Adams as the father, or shatter his hopes of proving otherwise? Brace yourself for the answer of if or if not, he's the father.
Pregnant. I didn't mention him about the baby until I found out it wasn't my ex.
When you got pregnant, you didn't even include Mr. Adams in this equation.
No, I didn't.
You thought it was your ex's. And
Yes,
your ex
yes, I
said,
did.
well, it's mine too, and you all went through this whole process, but then you
Yes.
had a test, it was not your ex's. So immediately then you said it was Mr. Adams.
Yes.
As the tension rises, Miss Williams denies ever telling Miss Adams that Mr. Adams was not the father. However, as they dig deeper into the timeline, doubts emerge. Judge Lake highlights the complexities of the situation, leaving Miss Adams doubtful. The courtroom is on edge as the truth continues to unfold.
It was my ex at the time because I was still messing with my ex. That's what the agreement was between me and my ex at the time.
So you said it's not his.
Yes.
But you understand why this could make her doubtful.
Yes, I do.
Witnessing the courtroom drama unfold, Miss Williams takes a stand to better herself for the child, earning applause from the audience. However, Miss Adams doubts her intentions as conflicting statements emerge about the paternity. Miss Williams claims it was just a possibility, but Mr. Adams firmly believes she previously said the baby wasn't his.
Was it your understanding that you may be the father or that you were the father?
Your Honor, after she had her ex-boyfriend tested, she basically was trying to come at me like I was the father.
That's a lie. I said possibility.
She said it was a strong possibility.
You didn't believe that?
No.
Mr. Adams reveals that he was declared the father by default and placed on child support without a DNA test. Miss Adams claims she made the claims, but Miss Williams denies knowledge of the test. As evidence is shown, tensions escalate and the arrears pile up. The court must uncover the truth to resolve this contentious situation.
At the beginning of this year, I started receiving paperwork telling me that I had to make payments of $99 per month for a child that I haven't even been tested for yet.
They said she were in default. She never appeared and she left
I'm not about
town.
to keep going through this with you. I told you I didn't
I
know
have
nothing about
papers
it.
right here, Your Honor.
I didn't
Show
know
me the
nothing about
paperwork.
that.
In the case of Adams v. Williams, the moment of truth has arrived. The question of whether Mr. Adams is the father of 3-year-old John Jones looms over everyone. The tension is palpable as the verdict is about to be revealed. Will he be responsible enough if it turns out that he is the father?
Mr. Adams is not the father.
Take me off child support, baby.
You done come to the wrong courtroom clowning. This is not a joke. It's nothing to dance about. It's nothing to laugh about. Now you should be ashamed of yourself, not sitting around dancing.
The most shocking moment on paternity court where it's obvious who is not the father. Miss Curtis confronts her mother, Miss Hall, in court, alleging that she kept the truth about her biological father hidden for 14 years. A potential father is present, but the truth remains uncertain. Secrets are exposed, and a family's future hangs in the balance.
It was the truth because I always felt like I was adopted. My father, he really never showed me the affection, the love at all.
Actually, Your Honor, yes, I did not tell my daughter at a young age about who her father was. Simply one, because I was a young girl. I was pregnant at the age of 15.
Tensions rise as Miss Curtis confronts her mother, Miss Hall, about the hidden truth. Miss Hall confesses she planned to tell Abril about her father at 16, but life intervened. Emotions run high as Miss Curtis yearns to know her father's identity. Will the truth finally be unveiled, or will this family's secret continue to keep them apart?
The time that I set forth for her was at the age of 16.
At the age of 16?
I was the one who took care of you, raised you.
You raised me, but I didn't have a father.
It did not matter whether you had a father or not. Because I was the mother, I was the one that was supporting you, keeping a roof over your head, and making sure that you went to school and you got the education that you needed.
Miss Curtis tearfully expresses her heartbreak of missing the father-daughter dance, while Judge Lake emphasizes its significance. The truth behind her father figure unravels as Miss Hall's guilt surfaces. The courtroom eagerly awaits the identity of Miss Curtis's real father, creating an emotional and suspenseful moment.
You gotta listen to your daughter because she's telling you what she feels. This was an event that everybody I knew got to go to. It's called the father-daughter dance, and when she said it, my heart dropped to my feet because I've been to the father-daughter dance. I could only imagine everybody getting ready at school and chattering and talking about the father-daughter dance.
The moment of truth arrives as Miss Hall denies receiving the letter from Kirk, the potential biological father. With emotions running high, Judge Lake unveils the contents of the letter, revealing Kirk's willingness to be the father Miss Curtis needs. Miss Hall feels deceived, and Miss Curtis expresses frustration at the situation.
He does state he's willing to be the father she needs and deserves, and it's signed Kirk.
And Your Honor, I know you may not understand how I feel about this right here, but that's where I feel like I was deceived and crossed because I had my time that I had set aside to do the right thing.
In a heartfelt moment, Miss Curtis reveals the letters exchanged with her father while he was in prison, expressing her hope for a stronger bond upon his release. However, disappointment sets in as he fails to fulfill the promises made in those letters. The tension escalates as the audience sympathizes with Miss Curtis, eagerly waiting for the truth to unfold.
You got a letter from him?
Yes. He wanted to know little things about me so he can get to know me through the letters. He promised me when he come home, he'll do things for me that he's never done. When he got home, he didn't do none of that, and he still haven't done none of that. I was trying to help him get out of the halfway house so he can come home and spend time with me.
In an electrifying moment, the court reveals Miss Curtis's father, leaving the audience in suspense. The heartfelt emotions and applause fill the room as the truth unfolds. Tears of joy and laughter embrace this newfound revelation, while the significance of truth is highlighted by Judge Lake.
Mr. Whitaker, you are her father. Mr. Whitaker, Miss Curtis, how you feel, Miss Curtis?
I feel really good.
In the most obvious "you are not the father" moment on paternity court, Miss Johnson is certain that Mr. Lewis is the father of Josiah. However, doubts arise due to false rumors and an ex-boyfriend's claims of potential paternity. They reconnect on Facebook after being friends in middle school, and when Miss Johnson becomes pregnant, the paternity mystery unfolds.
Miss Johnson, you claim you have no doubts that Mr. Lewis is the father of your 6-month-old daughter, Josiah. Now, Mr. Lewis, you and your mother say it's not only the rumors that have caused you to doubt, but also an ex-boyfriend of Miss Johnson's who claims he might also be the father.
Mr. Lewis recalls the heart-wrenching conversation when Miss Johnson revealed her pregnancy. Overwhelmed with mixed emotions, he broke down in tears, reflecting his joy and fear at the prospect of becoming a father. The weight of responsibility and uncertainty consumed him, yet he remained determined to face this life-altering situation with courage and love.
She called me and told me that she was pregnant, and she told me, and I was like, so how do you know you're pregnant? And she said that she took the test, and I was like, okay.
So when your son came home and you talked to him about it, how did you feel?
He said, Mom, there's something I need to tell you. And I was like, well, what is it? And he said, you know, Miss Johnson's pregnant. She said, I'm the father.
Amidst family turmoil and external doubts, Miss Johnson bravely stood by her belief in Mr. Lewis as the father. Despite negative influences, she kept reassuring him of the truth. However, during the pregnancy, their journey was bumpy, with heated confrontations from Mr. Lewis and his mother. Nonetheless, he did accompany her to some doctor's appointments, showing a glimmer of support.
Miss Johnson, were you aware that members of your family told Ms. Lewis that there could be others?
I don't know why he would listen to them. The whole time I kept telling Mr. Lewis that it was his baby, but he was still believing one of my family members.
Why would your family members say that about you?
Because they never want to see me happy with anybody.
In a shocking twist, Miss Johnson's ex-boyfriend believed he was the father due to a relative's false information. He reached out to her, and she clarified that she had always maintained that Mr. Lewis was the father. Despite her honesty with Mr. Lewis, the misinformation from her relative led to confusion, further complicating the situation.
My relatives told my ex that he was the father.
Your relatives, but you never personally.
I always told Mr. Lewis that he was.
You told Mr. Lewis that he was, but did you tell your ex that he was as well?
No, I didn't.
The court was trying to understand if there's a possibility that either man could be the father. Ms. Johnson affirms that Mr. Lewis is likely the father, but her ex-boyfriend insists on being involved due to misleading information from her family. The court confronts the conflicting claims and sets out to determine the truth behind the paternity dilemma.
So are you basing it just off of looks? Or let's think about the biology of it all. Let's think about the window of conception. Is there a possibility that either man, take the looks out of it, is it a possibility that either man could be her father?
Well, the possibility is Mr. Lewis. He could be the father.
Emotions run high as Mr. Lewis sees a resemblance between himself and Josiah, while Miss Lewis acknowledges the similarities but holds back emotionally until paternity is determined. Mr. Lewis expresses his strong desire for joint custody and giving Josiah his last name, but Miss Lewis firmly disagrees. The courtroom is on the edge, waiting to see how the situation unfolds and if the truth will be revealed.
So now Mr. Lewis and Miss Lewis, you submitted these photos to the court, and that's Josiah on the left and that's Mr. Lewis as a baby on the right.
Yeah.
And when you look at these pictures,
Like, I think she kind of resembled me, like she looked like me and my mom.
you too, Miss Lewis?
I see the resemblance, but emotionally, I just couldn't go there.
In a heartwarming paternity court moment, emotions soar as the truth is unveiled, leaving Miss Johnson teary-eyed. With the court's permission, Mr. and Miss Lewis share an emotional meeting with beautiful baby Josiah for the first time, prompting applause from the entire courtroom.
Mr. Lewis, you are Josiah's father.
Can I see my daughter?
How you feel, Miss Johnson?
I feel good.
Feel vindicated?
I feel sad
Why?
because he haven't seen his daughter.